What's going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Rose Show. As always, I am your host, Jay. Who else but me? And today, episode 22 with my good buddy, Lex The Hex Master. As you're going to see here in a couple seconds, I am a huge fan of this dude. Not only as an artist, because I think he's a hell of a musician, but also as a person. Again, I don't want to get into too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but he did a lot of stuff for us at a very important time that, I don't think I'll ever be able to repay him for doing for us, us being menace to sobriety. And I've got a lot of respect for him, a lot of love for him, and I'm really excited to see where his future is going now that some new things are in the works for him. And again, we'll cover that here in a second, but I at least wanted to start off by saying that, man, I got so much love for this dude. So I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy this, and it was an honor to be able to talk to him once again. He's one of those people that it doesn't matter how often we've gone without talking to each other. As soon as we, reconnect, it's like, no time was lost. So anyway, I'm going to quit babbling, and I'm going to go ahead and let you hear a word from our sponsor, and then let's get to it. My episode with my brother, Lex The Hex Master. Here we go. All right, everybody, it's time to stop and let you know about today's sponsor of the show, Crazy Martin's in Piqua, Ohio, one of my favorite places in the entire world to go to. Crazy Martin's has provided their customers with quality products for over 20 years, from ashtrays to water pipes and everything in between. Stop in, check out their selection, and of course, check out their pinball machines. With over 20 pins to choose from, there is something for everyone. Crazy since 1996. I don't just say this about every place. I love going to Crazy Martin's. I've always loved going to Crazy Martin's ever since I was of age to go to Crazy Martin's. It's one of my favorite places in the entire world. Me and my wife go there almost every Sunday to play pinball machines. It is one of the funnest spots in Ohio you could possibly find. It is in Piqua, Ohio. Check out their website at www.crazymartins.com. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of The Rose Show. As always, I am your host, Jay. Who else but me? And today, my guest, I'm going to do the intro a little bit different than what I normally do here. Everybody that's watched since day one knows I got a certain gravitas and a certain flair to it, but I'm not going to do that on this one. And the reason being is, I've got a history with this guy. Now, if you watch this for any amount of time, I point to this poster a lot. That is the Spooktacular Horror Tour Show. It was my very first tour. But however, it was also a tour where I met my guest today. And there were days on that tour where if it wasn't for my dude sitting opposite to me right now, we wouldn't have ate. So I have literally, we would not have ate that day if this guy didn't cook up the chicken. And I don't know about him, but we had this tiny little grill in the back of our RV, and we would cook chicken on it. See how he's laughing? We would cook chicken on it almost every single day. And there were literally some days, if it wasn't for him paying for this chicken for us to make, we wouldn't have had anything to eat. So my respect for this man goes leaps and bounds above 99% of the people out there. It was just announced very recently, as you're watching this, that he has signed to LSP, Lyrikal Snuff Productionz. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to see that things are starting to pick up for him again. It is Lex The Hex Master. My brother, how are we doing today?
What up, man? What up? How you doing, Jay? It's good to talk to you again. It's good to see you. You look good, man. You know what I'm saying? You're looking healthy, looking strong. Yeah, man, we had a blast on that tour, man. We had a blast. Crazy days, crazy nights, breakdowns, car breakdowns, and just on the side of the road, it was nuts, but it was amazing. It was history, man. And me and these guys have been, just friends forever. We don't have to talk every day, but when he hit me up for the interview, I'm like, it's no question, dude. Just let me know what you need me to do, no question at all.
Yeah.
Word.
Absolutely, my man. Absolutely. And it's funny, though. I think the last time we saw each other, I completely agree with you on this. Just because we might not talk every day does not mean you are not my brother until the grave. You know what I'm saying? And I think the last time you saw me was about 80 pounds ago. So, yeah, I look a lot more a lot more healthier than what you probably remember. The keto diet. I don't care who talks shit about it, bro. It works. I'm proof.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight too, man. I had some health issues. I had to lose some weight too, man. So I feel it. We ain't getting no younger. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting no younger. We
Yeah,
gotta live another day. Gotta live another day, bro. You know?
you know that's right. Well, today what I want to do is I kind of just want to have a conversation with you, just talk about, you in general, because I think that a lot of people respect you as an artist, but they don't really know where you came from. Because when you go back to when you were announced
Right.
from being signed to Majik Ninja Entertainment, what was that? 9 years ago or something like that at this point, 8, 9 years ago, you
Yeah.
just kind of burst on the scene and you turned a lot of heads immediately. So go ahead and give us a little bit of the background and the history of how you got started into underground music and how the grind really started for you.
Well, I'm from Astoria, New York City, Queens. You know what I'm saying? To date, born and raised, motherfucking hood. Well, it's an underground scene here, but it's very different. I think people fail to realize how large the underground scene is and how many different compartments and factions and genres. You know what I'm saying? It is. I had already been like doing the face paint and stuff because being from New York City, you could throw a rock and hit 10 fucking rappers. So I was like, what's gonna separate me from? What's gonna separate me from every other Tom, Dick, and Harry with a notebook and a laptop in his fucking bedroom, So that's where I got that idea to do it, and people started gravitating to it more. Music was always the same. Music was always hard music. It was always dark music. I just took the image and put it to the sound. You know what I'm saying? And as time went by, I started getting a lot of love in the Juggalo scene, which I really didn't know much about because it doesn't really reach New York like that. That's about the city at least. It doesn't really hit the city like that at least. So as time went on, these people started showing me so much love and started showing me sharing my music and dropping comments and stuff like that. And I was like, I like you. They accepted me before I accepted them. And as fate would have it, I would end up getting in contact with MNE. Well, MNE would end up getting in contact with me. I didn't take it seriously at first. I had never really heard of Twisted before, and we talked over time and shit like that, and they asked, you want to fly out to Detroit? I'm like, if you're paying for the ticket, I'll get on the plane. You know what I mean? And then that's what happened, and it was fucking history from there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were some of your influences when it comes to hip hop? Because you have, from my perspective anyway, I'm not speaking for anyone else's or even your own. From my perspective, you have a heavy emphasis on lyricism. And obviously that's something that goes, you look at your Mobb Deeps, your Biggie, obviously. That
Yeah.
is heavy in New York culture. Were there specific groups more than others that really inspired you, either growing up, young adult, whatever that might be?
Well, I mean, growing up in like the late '90s, and people actually listened to your lyrics, and you had to be original. You had to sound like yourself. So coming from that, being able to put words together, I listen to people like Nas really heavily with the lyricism. You know what I'm saying? When I want to hear some lyrics that'll make me think two or three times over, that's my go-to. You know what I'm saying? If I want to fucking go outside and bust somebody's fucking head wide open, I'll listen to some fucking DMX. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different compartments that puts the thing together. You know what I'm saying? When Eminem came on the scene, I didn't really like him at first, but once I got into his music and his lyrics, his content is okay, but the way he puts words together is what really amazes me. And I would say that he's definitely probably one of them. And myself, man. You know what I'm saying? Self. Every time I listen to myself, I'm the only artist that I'm trying to outdo. And I'm being totally honest. I don't look at anybody else and be like, oh, I want to be better than that guy, or even be that guy. When I listen to my own music and see how people react to my music, I'm like, well, shit. If you like that, wait till you hear the next shit. Wait till you hear the next shit. And I always try to outdo myself. That's the only real battle you can win anyway. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so one of the first things, again, going back to the Spooktacular Horror Show Tour, one of the first things I noticed, and I remember this very clearly on day one. I remember our very first stop. It was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at I think it was called like the Railroad or Rail Station or something like that.
Okay.
But I remember that first show because that was my first time actually seeing you.
Right.
That's it, very first night. So the first thing that popped in my head was damn, man, he knows how to control a crowd. Was
Right.
that something that just came naturally for you? Because again, that was my first taste of, you as an artist. And immediately you were like, you just took command over everybody from day one. Was that something that always came natural for you?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and I'm not trying to blow my own horn here, but yeah, that's just something that I mean, you got to balance the energy out. You got to give them what they give you, and when they're not giving you enough, you got to give them more so they can give you more. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I got videos I can send you, man, of fucking 2012, 2013, in a room in Brooklyn with maybe 100 heads in the same situation. You know, you got to take control of the room. I'll take control of the room before I even walk on the fucking stage. I can tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I take control of the room when I walk in the room. And anybody who's met me knows that I come with a presence. I don't just come and be hanging out in the corner. And I'm not a loud, boisterous person. I'm not an overly, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you just feel the energy. Some people have it and some people just don't, you know? So when it gets on stage, it's just magnified by a million, you know?
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, for if those who don't know, when we being Menace to Sobriety and Lex the Hex Master started hanging out on this tour, it was almost immediately. We
Yeah,
went into this tour, the Spooktacular Horror Show Tour. We all decided we were going to just stick to ourselves, stick to our grind, and just do what we had to do to get through this thing because we didn't really know what to expect. Again, same show in Minneapolis. I remember very clearly you're leaning up against one of the trailers out in the yard. Like there was a backstage area and then it led outside, and that's where we were all parked. And you were leaning up against a trailer, and me and Doc ended up walking past you, and you introduced yourself to us. And
right.
that's something that I was like, whoa, like this dude, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna he's going to make sure that you know that he's there. Yeah, and I don't mean that to be aggressively. I just mean like your presence is such that even somebody that you've never met us before, but you
Right.
were open enough to get our attention. And I mean, I remember shit like that. And I think that's really opened up our line of communication. Now, some funny stories from this tour, and then we'll talk about something else because I don't get it. I haven't anyway had a chance to talk about this tour yet.
Right.
Two things in particular. One, I already know you probably got the picture waiting on your phone, but we'll get to that number two. Number number one, we were in Sacramento, California. And I
Right.
remember this because the guys to this day won't let me live this down. I
Right.
think it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday night. That was the first time I met G Ski. G Ski came out to that show.
Yeah,
But
yeah, hell
yeah. Kung Fu Vampire was in the crowd too, just hanging
yeah.
out. But at the end of the night, when the show was over, you stayed and partied with us. We ended up getting a bunch of liquor, bunch of beer, and everything. And I remember sitting on the side of our piece of shit RV with you, drinking on a bottle of vodka. Rich was back in the corner. Our guitarist Rich was back in the corner throwing up. He had way too
Yeah,
much to
you
drink.
know,
He
Rick
was
was
tapped out.
crazy, dude. He was crazy.
Yeah. And I remember because again, we're in Sacramento, California. Me and you, the guys are in the RV trying to sleep, but me and you were out there singing, all the leaves are brown.
That was California, man. We were singing that the whole tour, the whole time we was in California. That was my
Yeah.
shit, man. Hell yeah. Now we got excellent memories from that tour, man. And one thing I feel about on tour, and a lot of artists don't feel this way, and it's sad. I feel like if we out there together, we out there together, and we should know each other, and we should be able to say, "Hey, there's that guy right there," or let's make sure this guy over here is okay." You know what I'm saying? Because we in cities we never even been to before. We don't know these people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody,
Yeah.
we're on the same tour together. Something happens to you, you end up lost. I remember I got a funny Minneapolis story one time. I was out there with a group called Black Mask Armada, right? They had only did maybe about 4 or 5 shows with us. So I'm like trying to hang out with these girls at the bar, and Dustin and everybody and Blaze and everybody just leaves. They're like, all right, we're going back to the hotel. I'm like, all right, cool. They're like, do you know where the hotel's at? I'm like, yeah, I know where the hotel's at. I didn't have any plans on going to the hotel, but I was like, okay. So now like 2 o'clock rolls around. These girls end up leaving. 2:30, the bar is like, yeah, we're closing down. And I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trashed too. So I called Dustin, called Blaze, nobody picks up the phone. Jim Job, nobody picks up the phone. I'm like, all right, now I'm stuck in Minneapolis. I don't know where I'm at. It's middle of the fucking night. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm trashed fucking drunk. And this lady's like, you have to leave. So I call these guys that I'm on tour with. This is my very first tour, so it's Castle Factory. So I call these guys, and I just got their number earlier that day because we was hanging out the back in the backstage. And I was like, "Yo, man, I know y'all don't even know me like that, bro. I'm trashed. I'm at this bar. I got to get to the hotel." They're like, "We know what hotel you're at." I'm like, "I don't know what you guys can do. Can you guys help me?" There was no Uber in those days that I knew of. Those dudes came all the way. They were like, "Yeah, we're like 40 minutes away, but we'll come back to get you." And they came all the way back around, and they came and got me, and they got me to my hotel, dude. Shit like that is what you remember for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not just guys staying off on their own and just like, oh, these guys are not on my level. We don't talk to them. You talk to us, you know? Fuck all that, man. We brothers out there, bro. We got to have each other's back. That's the only way it's going to work, you know? Anybody
Yeah, that's something
go ahead, my bad.
That's something that I learned from you was the
Yeah,
fact, even if we were just walking across the street to go to the store,
right.
bring somebody with you. You
Yeah,
know, never go out. You were in a strange area, in a
yeah,
strange state, in a strange city.
right.
Take someone with you at all times. I learned that from you.
Turn that wrong corner, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't know where you at, you know? But yeah, nah, it
Yeah.
was a pleasure. It was a pleasure touring with you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of fun. This is how we meet. This is how we meet good people, man. You know, and it's so rare. That's why you got to hold on to it, because in this industry, it's so rare to meet genuine people. You know, going
Yeah.
a balance of genuine people. You know, we're cool. I'm super cool with you guys. You guys end up super cool with me. We're always cool. I would hang out with Thomas sometimes. You know what I'm saying, on the grill. You know, he was the grillionaire. You know what I'm saying? Me and Rich will be fucking getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? Me and you will be talking about business a lot. And you know what I'm saying? You always had mad questions, and I'll be trying my best to answer your questions, but you're being a knowledgeable man, you ask questions. And I picked that up off of you, like, all right, I don't want to get the other guys mad, but I'm like, all right, I'm going to perceive this guy as the leader because he's asking all the right questions. You know what I'm saying? Word.
Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense, man. And it was one last story from this, and then we'll move on from this tour. We're in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
This
And there was
venue
a
that
dead
we were
bum.
at.
There was a dead bum.
Yes, that's right. To start the day off, we get off. Well, I didn't get off. Jason gets off the RV first, walks around the corner. We are literally in the heart of Chinatown. There's a dead body chilling in the middle of the sidewalk. And these people are walking over it like it's
Yeah.
not a big deal that there's a
For hours
dead
and
body.
hours.
And that,
Yeah.
yes, that shit was wild. So that tells anybody who's watching the area that we're in. So
Right.
later on that night, and I don't know if I could put a picture up on this or not. I'm going to try it. Hopefully it doesn't get flagged. Later that night, this toilet in this venue, somebody had the worst explosion of diarrhea ever recorded in human history and just left it there. So what happens is we all start talking about it. We go back in the back in this alley, and this motherfucker who's laughing on the other side of this screen starts showing this picture to everyone and starts telling everyone I did it. Now I think we had 2 weeks left on this tour. We had 2 weeks left on this tour. Every
Oh,
single
man.
stop we had, he goes out of his way and he goes, hey, to anyone who will listen, security guards, venue workers, fans, doesn't matter. Anyone that will listen, he goes and takes this picture and goes, hey, you want to see a picture of what this dude did? Every single stop.
Yo, but you know what? That's how I knew we was boys, man. Because we was really good. That's how I knew. I'm like, these my dudes. I can fuck with these dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
cool. It's funny. Yeah, yeah. Your wife now had came to
Yeah.
one of the shows too. Yeah, I showed her the picture too, and she was like, "Oh God, yeah,
That's right. I forgot about that. That was in
yeah,
Cleveland. Yeah, she came and got
yeah,
me in Cleveland. That's right. You did go
yeah,
show
yeah."
her
I
that.
remember. Yeah, I was like, "You better marry that girl, man. She's a groovy chick, man." Word.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Great, man.
that was the best and worst time of my life was being on that tour with y'all, man. But let's stop boring everybody with that. I want to talk a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
So, and we can skim past this if you want. That's totally fine, but I at least got to shoot my shot and ask you. Obviously, with it being announced that you joined Lyrical Snuff Productionz, like I said in the intro, do you have anything that you want to say about your time in M&E? It doesn't even have to be anything negative. It could just be, anything you got off your chest, anything you want to say about your time there. Is there any words that you have to say now that your time at M&E has come to a close?
I could say I learned. If there's anything that I got there, I learned. You know what I'm saying? I experienced, a
Yeah.
lot. A lot of people get, when people part ways business wise, a lot of people get this perception of this bad blood. You know what I'm saying? Or in this scene, you know how this scene is, they want it to be bad blood. You know what I'm saying? They want
Yeah.
it to be beast.
Yeah.
They want this record. They want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, but no, it's not like that. If there's one thing I've definitely learned and I've definitely grown, um, time is so crazy because in the time span I was there, my personal life had changed so much as well. And I had to
Yeah.
learn how to balance things out with being this like newfound superstar guy that everybody wants to know and everybody wants to talk to while trying to maintain a regular personality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that definitely taught me how to do that, and that's something that I had to learn. Every artist doesn't have that though. Some of these guys, you can't even approach them on a bad hour they're having. They cuss you the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it definitely taught me how to humble myself, man, and it taught me what I'm capable of too. It taught me there's a certain kind of confidence booster that comes when you're on stage and people are going crazy that you don't get at
Right.
home. It's a certain amount of knowledge that you learn, that you acquire by being around people like George. You know what I'm saying? By being around people like Twisted, and especially during the beef, and um, like looking at how they handle certain things, and not always jumping out the window at every little thing. And, every time somebody wants to, I tell you, I'm from New York City. I'm from Queens, New York, man. Every time somebody dropped a bad comment, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to find that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, let it slide, bro. It's not that serious. I definitely learned a lot. I feel like I've grown a lot, man. And if I could have it any other way, I wouldn't change anything about it. I would do it all over again. Word. But yeah, for the
Yeah.
record, I did, and we can say it that way. I did leave M&E. Things just
So,
wasn't working out. And instead of sitting and complaining about things not working out, you just remove yourself from the situation and make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
hey, that's the best attitude to have. So, where do you think, and I'm asking you this specifically because you have good insight, obviously because of the position you're in, but not only that, you're an intelligent dude. Where do you think the state of the underground is today? Because we talked about this a little bit before I hit record, but COVID hit a lot of people hard.
Yeah,
And I don't know that, from my perspective anyway, I don't know that it did anybody any favors as far as like people missing the scene. Now live shows have came back,
yeah,
obviously in a hard way. Even when
yeah,
we do Camp Zool every year with me and the Ala Zulu boys, when we put that together, those tickets fly out the handles. But I don't see a whole lot of people sharing music like I used to. It's getting better, but that's from my corner of the world. Do you think what do you think the state of the underground is as we sit here and talk today in April of 24?
I mean, people probably not sharing music because everybody's a rapper now. You know what I'm saying? So they want to play their own music, or everybody got a record label now. Everybody wants to do the thing. Which is fine, but um, what does it mean if you're not supporting you're supporting your local artist? If there was a time in this underground, and if you wasn't a part of this faction or that faction, nobody was gonna hear you. Nobody was gonna care what you were gonna
Yeah.
do. Now, if we're gonna practice personality worship and just hold certain people to certain pedestals and not give the next man a listen, the hungry guy trying to come up and trying to open and trying to buy on. If we're not going to give him a chance, then we're going to end up in that same situation where if you're not a part of this faction or that faction, nobody's going to care. And you're going to have a whole bunch of people clamoring to try to sound like these people and try to do what these people are doing. You know, there's definitely new talent coming in, new sounds coming in. But again, there's so many people who will not listen. Me coming in on MNE, especially in the height of a beef, I feel like that cut in half anybody who would have ever gave me a chance whatsoever, who probably would have loved my music. But since I was with MNE, they're like, yeah, I'm not listening to that guy. Fuck him and fuck Twisted. You know what I'm saying? that's what they say.
I see it. I see it in comment sections. People straight up saying if they weren't on M&E, I would listen to them. I see it all the time.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But if we keep on going in the direction that we're going and not being original, you know what I'm saying, and not cutting out our own, carving out our own lane, then we're gonna have a gang of dick riders who's just trying to be this guy or trying to be that guy or trying to ride this dude's nuts or trying to ride that dude's nuts. I don't know who I was signed to. I wasn't jumping into nobody's beef. You know what I'm saying? If the shit wasn't directly at me, you know what I mean? I got your back. We in the street. I got your back. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you in the street. That's beef. Getting shot at and shit like that is beef. This internet shit, that shit ain't beef, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's not real. So I'm not doing none of that. I ain't never been on the bandwagon or like fuck this guy because he's this and fuck that guy. Anybody who's met me, any label, any artist, whether it be the largest artist in the world, shit, I met Jelly Roll, man. You know what I'm saying? Shook his hand. Jelly Roll's actually a super cool dude. You know what I'm saying? To the guy who sold 5 tickets to the show. I'm gonna sit there and have a drink with him too. You know what I'm saying? Men on men, people are people, man. You know what I mean? They gotta watch out for the female side of the underground too, because we got some bad female artists out here who's coming and they burning shit up, bro. They burning shit up, bro. Yeah. Telling you, y'all dudes better step your game up, because these chicks are hot. That makes me want to see them. And 2, they're talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Word. Yeah, and to your point, I don't want to dime this person out, but I've had a discussion with somebody who has the stamp of approval that, you know, that you discussed from being on this side or the other. Yeah. And it's funny because it's not even like using the term stamp of approval isn't accurate. It's more accurately a stamp of permission. It's like once party A says, yes, this is a person that we think you should listen to, the whole world goes, okay, now we can listen to him. Why? There's so much dope content out there. And you're right. If people don't start supporting these acts that are coming up, it's not going to mean nothing. And you can support somebody just because they're not, as you said, over here or over here. You can support plenty of people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand how that bandwagon started.
I think that's just human nature, man. I think that's just human nature. From this side from the East Coast to the West Coast beef to the Bloods and the Crips to the Democrats and Republicans. Like, people just want somebody to fight, bro. People just want to be down with something. You know what I mean? People just want to be down with something. Like, yeah, I'm with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to stand on their own anymore. This is why we join gangs, and this is why we join all these different organizations and stuff. But yeah, I feel like originality is definitely key. There's a lot of dudes out here that I hear that. You ever hear somebody and you're just like, man, I wish I could do more for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could put you in that seat. You know what I'm saying? To go fast, fucking highway to fucking success. But as of right now, I don't have the power to do that. That is the plan, though, is to bring out some of the most original cats, to bring out some of the most dopest sounds, and just keep it flowing, man. No, this is why a lot of companies these days are dying, man, because nothing fresh is coming out. You know what I'm saying? We doing tours from 30 years ago and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
It's true. What is fresh and what is new is the fact that you are with a new label. LSP is a staple in the underground, has been for, God, I don't even know how long at this point. How did that deal come about, man? Because I think a lot of people were pleasantly surprised at this point as this recording. It was announced yesterday that you signed with the label. How did that deal come about?
Well, it was something that we, talked about for a long time. It's something that probably should have happened a long time ago. I've always been toured. I probably toured with them
a lot, yeah.
just as many times or even more times than I've toured with MNE. We don't realize I haven't toured with MNE since maybe 2017 or 18.
Mm.
Yeah, I've always been touring. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things I was doing on my own. You know, went sold out 2 shows in Great Britain on my own. You know what I'm saying? 2018 Insomniac tour on my own. You know what I mean? We put out
Yeah.
the last 4 episodes, and I knew from things that was happening with these episodes. And okay, how this deal comes about? How did this deal come about? When you look at the comments now since the announcement yesterday, and more than half of the people are saying that they didn't even know I rapped anymore. That's how this deal came about. When people's like, damn, Lex hasn't toured since the Caskets Factory tour. However, I probably got about 10 tours under my belt, but nobody knows about that. This is how that deal came about. This is why that deal came about. You know what I'm saying? Scum is actually a friend of mine in real life. Scum has been to my house. You know what I'm saying? To my house. Scum, Lynch, Murph, you know what I'm saying? A couple of us, Grave Dog. Those dudes came to my crib and ate at my mother's table. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's a whole different monster when it comes to just like, all right, turn in your record and be on time for the fucking bus. That's a whole different thing. We this is something that we probably knew was gonna happen for years. You know?
Yeah. Well, I for one am beyond elated. Just a peek behind the curtain. I texted you yesterday before the announcement. It was like it must have been hand in hand when I texted you that I wanted to interview you today.
Yeah.
And shortly after, you were like, "Oh, hey, did you just see it at the announcement?" I'm like, "Oh shit, that's dope." So it made this even more special to me because I'm getting the first crack at you. Granted, this is going to be probably a couple weeks before this comes out because I do editing and all that stuff. But the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that I am the first crack at you after this, brother. I just want to be the first one, face to face, video to video, whatever, to say, I hope you guys take this shit to levels it has never been seen before. I believe you can take this shit to levels that LSP has never seen before. I everything inside of me wishes nothing but the best for both you and Scum. Man, I'm telling you, when you I don't know how else to say this, bro. I hope and I believe in my heart you guys are going to do big things with this. So, and when I saw or when you told me rather that you signed them, I immediately was like, oh, dude, this is awesome. You know, because again, I know you guys have been touring for that long, and I know how good of a dude Scum is to his
Yeah,
people, how good of a
yeah.
dude he is to his fans, his friends. He is renownedly probably the only guy in the underground I've never heard a bad word about. And that's
Me
saying
too.
something right
Me
there.
too. Never no beef, not caught up in no beef, none of that. Like Scum, I would say is probably one of my best friends. When I told you I had some health problems at one point in time. Scum would just call me to see how the fuck I was. Others didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Other people did not do that. Scum would just call me to shoot the shit. That shit means a lot. You know what I mean? And it was just to see the support. You know what I'm saying? To see the support from all of the LSP artists and all of the fans out there was just it's just amazing, dude. Like I feel really good about it. I knew it was gonna be good. I knew people was gonna be. Of course, I was a little nervous about it at first, but I'm really it just gives me that battery in my back to just be like, fuck it, let's do this shit, bro. Nothing can stop it now. You know what I'm saying? The announcement, I'm sure it slapped a lot of people in the face. Like, what? What did he do? You know what I'm saying? Because nobody knew about this. You know, the world found out when everybody found out, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So um, it was a power move, but I do feel like that. I feel like with the resources that LSP has, the fan base, the super loyal fan base, the no beefs, you know what I'm saying? The no drama, the no none of that stuff. Like I feel like we could definitely do something because that's what I was always all about too. I was never with the beef and all of this stuff and the fire and just doing that shit like that. Yeah, yeah. But I did just come out with a record in January too, called Fire and Lead. I don't know if you checked that out yet. It was produced by Jake Palumbo. Yeah, that's doing really good. That's nearing almost 250,000 streams in
Oh,
less than
nice. Hell
3
yeah.
months. Yeah, it's killing it, and that was independent. You know what I'm saying? That was through Space Labs. That was through Jake's company distribution Soul Spasm. Like we did that with just elbow grease, no major label backing at all. So these little things lets me know like I could do this on my own, bro. You know what I'm saying? But why not have good people around you to help you? You can do it on your own. If I could do this on my own, I can come to a place like LSP who can help me get the jump start, and I can help them as well. It's a mutual balance. Yeah.
Well, like I said, my dog, like I've been saying this whole episode, I got nothing but love for you. You again, one of the favorite people I've met in the underground since I've started doing this, and I
Thank you,
wish
man. You
nothing
too,
but the
bro.
best for you guys. And as always, at the end of every episode, I give the floor to my guests to plug any socials that they got, any upcoming projects, whatever that might be. So, floor is yours, dog.
All right. Shout out to the whole Shadow Army gang out there. I met Cobra Kai. His name is not Cobra Kai. It's Kid Savage. I should like to call him Cobra Kai. My man JB the Ghost, everybody, the whole LSP gang, the whole LSP label, the whole LSP fan base. Um, Shouts to MNE, you know what I'm saying? All my ninjas out there, you know what I'm saying? Twisted, keep y'all heads up, you know what I'm saying? And salute. Just the whole underground, man. All my juggalos out there, whoop whoop. My man Jay, one of my good brothers, man. One of my good brothers, a positive dude. Y'all keep watching. If this is the first time y'all watching, y'all keep watching, man. He'll keep you guys entertained. And just everybody out there, keep grinding, man. All you artists out there, keep grinding, dog. It's no difference. Just work ethic, man. Keep on doing your thing. Much love.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you being here with me today.
Word. Thank you, man.